people in. So if they, for example, own a company, you have to pay 40% of the value of the company in tax when they move out. Isn't that pretty crazy? So basically, if you're a successful businessman in Norway, they try to lock you in so you can never leave. That is fucking mafia of the worst side. That's insane, yes. And people, retards, let me just clarify, retards thinks that's Norway and good. The thing is,
made myself some food. I'm coughing. That's wanted to talk from the start out. Peace. These shirts, these days, super cool. Too bad I have like diabetes and multiple sclerosis, but these shirts, super comfy, not lying. Cheap polyester comfy, but quite nice. But that one t-shirt got already a hole. Don't think that's standard. It was inside, I think, or something like that. Made myself some food. El Verde Pane Rigate. That must be the extra fuego. Or probably not. The others were probably extra fuego. Cooked the penne first inside water with some oil. Completely normal. With some of the salt I have, not a lot anymore. And one of these looks weird. And some curry vaduvan. That's actually not curry, but that's curcumin. Curcumin, onion, garlic, mustard seeds, cardamom, chili, estrogen, roses, 1.5% is roses inside the curry vaduvan. Just a little bit on the water, and then I've cooked it, and then I've put the water out of the pan, so just a little bit of water is inside, but without the oil, which was excess eventually, but it was probably already inside the starch and the wheat. And the vegetables, which is Mediterranean vegetables, I will look into the, that's how it looks. Trash can. And that was previously inside here, super cool. And I've put a little bit of water pond inside the big pan right here, and then have put some oil on top of it, and the oil dripped down and was like cooking from the top to the bottom, like some tower or something. There was water all over for like 2 centimeters or something, and I've put some oil in it, and it made the tower to the ground, and it boiled like that. Looked super astonishing. I love things like that. That place that had a hole, now it's like sealed or something, don't know. They just put some like earth on it, no grass or something. But I've cooked it like that, added some salt and stuff, And then I had a little bit of that sauce, maybe like that. I've just like added some tomato mark, that one. I've just like put it right in and put some salt and curry vardouvan in and little bit of oil, and then mix it up. And when the vegetables were cooked, because there's like zucchini, I don't know how Americans say that, but there was zucchini and there's like some mushrooms inside, some onions and stuff. Onions, zucchini, paprika, carrots, very like easy to cook, right? Mediterranean food. Human people love Mediterranean food because you can very easily cook it, and zucchini is super nice to you when you cook it. In water cooked with some oil for, don't know, 50 minutes for the penne were like cooked too. The water extracted and little bit of water off the penne put into there, mixed up, and then the sauce which I had over with some tomato mark and little bit of oil, little bit of water, like mixed together, and then added in the late on it without adding any oil onto the food itself, but just on the water for the vegetables to cook, because there's zucchini and carrots and onions and stuff inside, which do very cook nice in water and oil, but do also very nicely cook with noodles, because noodles have starch and wheat as cooking like agent, and that results in the water of when you cook it. So I cooked the noodles also with oil, so the starch like mixes with the wheat inside the water, and didn't add the water which had like still oil inside there, but I've drained it out, but added a little bit of water of it where there was the starch and the wheat. The wheat is still inside circulating, and added it to the vegetables, so the zucchini and the carrots and stuff, which are really easy to cook because they can like handle like fat metabolization of cooking processes with oil and fats and stuff very easily, and habitate like electrolytes which are easy to handle, and cook very easily with noodles. And I cooked it like that till the legumes looked like starting to get like carbonated by oxidation, by too much heat excess. But before that, and before the legumes become completely like dry like that, there was slightly little bit of water inside. I added the noodles with the little bit of water inside, which had the starch inside. So I didn't add any extra fats to add to the food, but I added fats to the cooking process. So the fats react with the calcium channels, the carbon channels, the Oreo-Nate channels, or how that's called in olives. So they react with this, and then added the noodles. So these channels are filled with like the excess of starch, the wheat, and had the oil inside, so the oil connects to these fiber channels of the biotines and stuff, where the the electrolytes then accumulate, and the carbon channels and the natrium channels all get into line of how the legumes are like populated, and that's basically in Mediterranean veggies is basically zucchini and tomato and and carrots and onions do like help with the I don't really know what that is, but it's not really the natrium channels, but the natrium channels are part of it. But the testosterone are like back end of it. The onions, they populate really nice with the wheat and the biotines inside the fibers of the legumes of the zucchini, and with the cooking you don't always like get when you have water and oil inside the cooking process, you don't really get always the oil inside the legumes, but the water and the oils partially take the the biotines, electrolytes and minerals and stuff out. It's completely normal. We make tea completely normal. You can make tea with that and drink that, and it tastes like that and something. Happens the same with the zucchini, and zucchini is a really nice populatable dish, right? Everyone knows zucchini, everyone knows Mediterranean food because it's easy to cook, because it's safe to cook with electrolytes environments where it's like safe to eat, so your natrium channels and kalium and the order balances don't get out of order, because there's other vegetables where you have problems like cooking food like easy with water and oils and get the right electrolytes out, but not really with zucchini and not really with tomato, not really with cauliflower. But many people don't even cook like that. They put like their food inside the pan, they roast it with some water or something, and then add the oil inside. And that's not how you cook that, because when you add just the oil inside, when the food is already like composited like that, you basically create like trans fat acids, and the fat acids don't even go into the fiber of the legumes, because the legumes need cooking processes where they exert like biotines and electrolytes and other ingredients. And while they exert it, you have to modulize like the biotin tool chain on how it composes. While it exerts, you have to like chain it with oils, for example, and after you've chained it and the carbons and stuff structured, you have to certify the fibers, and that's usually done by starches and wheat. And I forgot something again, but usually they do like put into these sauces like sunflower oil. And sunflower oil, when you cook normally, like easy cooking, like Mediterranean legumes, which is completely normal, super easy to cook, you have the sauces with sunflower oil, and you basically restructure what you do to trans fat acids compatible things, and you basically spoil your food. So you basically, when you buy that, you can't really make yourself like Mediterranean vegetables with noodles or something, because you are spoiling the food with the sunflower oil, and you eat more trans fat acids than fatty acids, which are then conducted to the biotines. When you eat it, the biotines go into your body, like your liver and brain and stuff, and the trans fat acids like travel with the biotines inside, with the electrolyte, with the other ingredients. They travel with these ingredients to the body, and then the fatty acids are like consumed. And when you put like sunflower oil in, that chain of fatty acids traveling with the biotines usually go like the trans fat acids go with the carbonized places. So when you burn your legumes and you have sunflower oil inside, you have basically built trans fat acids on the carbon. So you process the carbon with the trans fat acids, and these trans fat acids sit on your gall and bladder like for like 2 to 6 months. You can't really do anything against that, except not using like sauces which had sunflower oil inside, but use it with other oils like olive oils or sesame seed oils or something. And people usually get really confused about these things, and then they get like big packages of food, processed food, add it to the pan with some water and put the oil over it, because they don't really know how the legumes and the environment of the amino acids and the biotin actually work. Super annoying, but that thing here costs 99 cents in the discounter stores. Is super cheap and has even some tofu and milk acid soybeans inside, some magnesium chloride, which does help. But with the sunflower oil, it's a bit of annoying. Has even that one has tofu inside too. Some olive oil, 10% tofu. Quite cool, but way too much of sunflower oil for the trans fat acids makes really fat, and the people confused because they don't really know anymore how to cook. And there's just the selection of Mediterranean vegetables, or Chinese vegetables, or Italian vegetables, or soup vegetables, and that's basically all, because the people forgot how to cook, because in these sauces is all sunflower oil, and they cook trans fat acids on carbons to deliver to the body instead of the biotins of the zucchini and stuff. But I tried gaining some vision on it. Doesn't look that bad, but still super confusing on what's actually happening when you cook and how you actually cook. But at least I have some food. Sorry about that. The reason for that, the trans fat acids are bound to the carbon structures of the food when you cook it or overcook it, is for simplicity, so you can consume like minerals, like metals inside of protein gases like ammoniac, and ammoniac is usually like drifting off from everywhere. I don't really know from where that comes from, but ammoniac is everywhere, and you smell that in, and you have like iron inside of protein synthesis like gases, and you breathe that in. You make yourself your food with sunflower oil. You bind the sunflower oil with the vegetables on the carbon, have the trans fat acids, and the trans fat acid chain does basically split your thyroids, left thyroid, right thyroid. They split apart, and the iron from the ammoniac and the protein synthesis gases, you breathe that in, and they go through your bladder and you're gay, and you basically get like fat and ugly, unsportive, and like disinterested in cooking. So because there's just sunflower oil inside these glasses of sauces, and you forgot how to cook, and eat constantly like trans fat acids, which like store in your body for 6 months. You breathe the gases in, and the trans fat acid with the protein synthesis like mess your gut and your bladder up massively. But the good thing is, these Mediterranean vegetables usually have like zucchini, cauliflower, and tomato, and onions, and carrots inside, and that's super easy to cook with water and olive oil, avocado oils, or sesame oil, where you can like bind the fibers to the actual natural channel, which do actually port like the biotines of the tomato or something into the environment of the food cooking. That's quite a good thing. These packages are super cheap, but people don't really have interest to cook anything else because they don't really cook, they don't really know how to cook, and buy like processed food at the food counters, and these have also trans fat acids, and spoil your interest for keeping like hydrated on biotines and stuff, because you eat too much trans fat acids and your body like resolves with no water inside. Since it doesn't resolve with water, you basically tune your fat metabolization out of water in with protein gases and in metal bond, and the metal bond protein gases take over your fat metabolization, and you don't breathe enough of ammoniacs and stuff, so your fat metabolization can actually work with it, and you get fat like me. See, also huge problem. Usually what you get when you buy like supplements is not like the supplement or mineral itself, but it's a natrium form of it. That here is natrium selenate. That's basically a chloride form of selen, and it's basically completely something different than selen. Selen chloride you usually use for like medical applications to filter some things out, but selen like that is sold like that as natrium selenate, and this natrium selenate is basically some form of cleansing, purging agent in medical chemical industry to get like bad electrolytes and biotines out of some ingredients and substances. But that is sold as natrium selenate, selen, for to eat, and you don't eat these, so they just give you a bullshit number of one of these is all you need for a day, because that's not real selen, that is a fabricat for medicine purification, and that's not an agent to eat, so you just eat one of them, but actually what you do, you eat actually 8 of these. You don't consume 55 microgram of selen, but more like 420 or 480 of microgram selen, but that is not selen, that is natrium selenate, that's a chloride form, and that's not really for consumption, but for substance preservation and stuff. And so you just eat one of them, and that's basically useless. You eat 8 of these, at least 3 till 8, instead of one, because that's not really a supplement, that is a substance for biochemical laboratories. But annoying, same problem.